Hello and welcome to Train Sim TV. Today we're doing our livery roundup for the Class 86 and Mk2F Coaches Pack. We usually do one of these every time a release comes out for JT stuff, and we take a look round and just cover what each livery is. If you haven't seen our previous video, that went live the day the pack came out on the 15th. That covered a scenario on the pack. So, we are down at Upperby again doing our look round. We've got all the locos out. We've got some coaching stock over there as well. We'll take a look through the lot. It just gives us a bit more chance to take a slower look around rather than like worrying about driving, you see. So first of all, we have BR Blue. Now this one has actually spawned me in Hardwick, which is the rally lamp, which was the something like this. I think was the I think that was sort of how the preview, like teaser picture looked for the very first picture we did. That got people talking, and yeah, well done to the people that managed to crack it quite quickly. People are very quick at usually sort of figuring out what's going on, what's coming, and all that jazz. So with the BR Blue livery, we haven't got no RCH cabling on the front of this one, but we do have a lovely nameplate on the side there. Nameplates came from Matthew Wilson of Vulcan Productions. If you don't know who he is, he does a lot of Trains and Classic stuff, reskins and many fantastic packs over there. Provided a plethora of those for the pack itself. Look through the bogies on this. We're not going to look through the bogies on every single one, but let's have a quick look on this one as we go around. Some cool things with this is the brake rigging actually works. All this moves when you're applying and releasing the brakes. Hose in the front there. This loco works as air and vac. Got the vac pipe there. You got the air pipes here, so you can run with both stock. And you can change over the timing for the braking in the machine room, which we'll have a look at shortly. It's quite interesting down here. I'm not overly sure what this is all about down here. It's a low-hanging axle, which sort of hangs over the track. It's not a track brake or anything like that. It's something to do with the suspension. Whether this is some form of the modification that was made for the /2s, the flexi coil, I'm not too sure, but it could very well be that. But it's got a quirky bogie, to be fair. They're very bulky. Also to note on the wheels, it's got loads of bolts all around it. Well, not sure what that's an aid of, to be fair. It's but it does look quite cool on the design there. Underneath you see all the compressor stuff under here. The ticking spirax in the battery isolation would be in here. And again over here got the other bogie. Unlike the 87, these have a standard marker and taillight configuration, whereas the 87 has the markers under the tail lights, the tail lights, shall I say, above and below each other. This one there, separate. Now the markers on these are where the original head code box once lived. So back in the earlier days of the Class 86, when they first came into production, they had a head code box which would display the head code of the working. They were operated with a winding wheel sort of handle in the cab, in the window. We can go and have a look at. So where these plated over are, that's where the winders, I believe, were on top. So you do wound head code on that's the letters and the numbers, and they got plated over essentially just for the markers to go in there. So again, we'll just quickly across the cab there, so you can see on these, obviously 3 window panes opposed to 2 with the 87. Definitely, I think they give a bit more visibility, a bit more of a panoramic view. Certainly do give you a sense of speed when you're driving. So just looking over here, you've got your brake gauges, all your pressure chambers and stuff like that. Mile per hour gauge, amp for the motors, so you've got 4 sets of the needles on there. If you isolate any of their motors in the machine room, then obviously the respective one will not take power and giving you less of a power output. Notch needle indicator on there, just 1 on this, whereas the 87 has 2 because they can work in multi. 86/2 cannot work in multi. Heading over to the right is where all your switches are, or tail light instruments, cab heat, markers and tail lights and all that jazz. You have markers and headlights. If you have a headlight such as the red lamp, then you would turn that on. If you only have the markers, then you just turn the markers on. Audit lamp, the decoration really. And you've got on the driver second hand side, so you've got a horn over here and a DSD holdover switch. Going back down to the lower part of the console, you've got the pantograph up and down, overload reset also. So if you came over an APC magnet called neutral sections, you'll find that the line light and the heat lights go off and then come back on again. If you struggle to see that hasn't come back on, all you would do is overload reset that and it will come back to life. Sometimes it does that, sometimes it doesn't, depends where you are. Train heat as well, on and off. If you turn it on, if you're on the Mk2Fs, you'll get the air conditioning whirring noises. If you turn it off, it obviously wouldn't work. Quick blast of the horn. Muffled in the cab. The horn's housed up here, so it gives you a bit more of a muffled sound. If you're outside, obviously you get the full pelt of that. Brakes. Your main train brake. And your locomotive brake is here. AWS acknowledge reset button and your sunflower will illuminate here. You've got a DSD holdover here, and you've got your master key, your reverser. If you wanted to reverse your locomotive, you would have to press the reverse lock into reverse. And seeing when it goes into off, that switch, the reverse lock resets itself. If I try and go backwards now, I can't. It's not letting me until I press that switch. Also is a anti-slip brake. If you struggle to find like any adhesion, you'd give that a press. And also, you can also press your sander and give it a blast of sand as well to aid traction. You've also got a driver guard call button. Usually with 2 beeps to acknowledge receipt of the train can go. On the bulkhead, you've got the AWS cab change end lever and isolation switch for the AWS. You need to have this right hand side one on, activate the cab. If you don't, you're not going anywhere. You don't have to have the AWS on if you don't want to, but having it on gives you more points in your trip. Same with the DSD station, which is in the machine room. You've got lights, switches as well. You've got a handbrake wheel over here. You've got a fire test and hot plates. Just nipping into the machine room itself, you have to duck. And there's some tail lamps here. If you actually put a tail lamp on the front or the back of the train, they will disappear per how many you've got on. Obviously, you can put one on each end. Up here, you've got a rheostatic switch. You can turn it on or off. So it's on by default, but you can turn it off if you wish to do so. Up here is where your timing switches for the brake selection. Vacuum and passenger air, or brake back and air goods. Over here is where you can dabble around and isolate bits and pieces and have some fun. So you've got your battery isolation switch. If you wish to make it a dead loco, you can literally just turn it off. You'd have to go and put the pan down as well, but that all works. Here as well, you can isolate motors. You can isolate them all if you want, but if you isolate them all, obviously you're going nowhere. But blocks 1 or 2, obviously you'll have less power output. Some other MCBs over here, some battery stuff on there, transformer oil pump, DSD that you want on, you'll get extra points for that. It'll beep every 30 seconds or something like that. And again down here as well, there's loads of switches to play with if you wish to do so. have a bit of a challenge. So that is a look around generally in the actual train itself. What we'll do now, we'll just have another look around the rest of the liveries. So that is BR Blue. So the next one, we have BR Blue 1 RCH. So the difference on this one is it's got the RCH cabling on the front, so you can see the jumper cable thing going over here. I actually think they do. I'm probably bold claiming it, actually. I'm assuming actually they do actually connect to the coaches. I the bold claim they do so. So yeah, the cables do connect. I'm chatting absolute rubbish. Other than that though, it's just the same delivery as this one. It's just essentially it's got the cables on the front. Again, you can find that you might drop one. I believe you will drop one with a intensity light as well. With a nameplate, we've got Drive John Accent GC. Otherwise, it's all the same down below and at the ends. Moving over to, I believe this one is just Intercity 1. I'm going through the manual of the way I put them down, but they're slightly not in the same order where I placed them. So this is one of the examples of Intercity. You'll note there's a few different ones like over there and down to the back there. I think as well what they did was they went through phases of different Intercity liveries to sort of experiment and get what they wanted for the executive sort of end product. But nonetheless, it's nice to have variety. Moving on. Also, you'll note as well different pantographs. So I'm absolutely horrendous at this sort of thing, but I'm going to try and find the manual. What one is which? There is something, I'm pretty certain in the manual about this. Trying to find where they are. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's not. Yeah, I don't think there's actually anything as such in there. Basically, there's two pantographs, Stone Faverley and a Brecknell Willis. That might be Stone Faverley, I think. That might be the Brecknell. Might all be the same ones actually. If I can find one that looks different. I think we might have actually spawned all the same type on this occasion, but never mind. But right, I've lost where I'm actually up to on the manual now, which is always helpful. So this livery is the Intercity 1 with the RCH cabling. So again, it's the same livery, but with the cable work on the front. Obviously the rear, we've got City Carlisle for this one, so it's a different name pattern. All ticking away. Around the back, we have Intercity 2. Now, if I get this right, I can find it. There we are. So yeah, Intercity 2. So this one has the high intensity headlight. See that on the front there. Otherwise, it is the same essential livery, bar a wraparound of the black around the front there, sort of covering the markers, but not fully. We've got a Sans Peril. Peril? Sans Peril, I think. Moving over to this one. We have Intercity 3 RTH. So this one as well has got a red buffer beam. Got a black marker box. We have Hector. I think if anything, that one looks probably the most sort of the beefiest one, I would say. But for me as well, the ones without the RCH cables on the front give me a bit of a look of an early 8L Roarer. I don't know about you, like you guys, if you feel that as well. Just sort of makes it look a little bit more like the earlier examples. Moving over to the special livery. This one is 86233, and this is BR Blue 2 RCH, and this is a one-off livery, which is Lawrence Olivier. It has the white or grey roof, however you look at it. Not for sure what the reasoning was for this one to be painted with that roof. Potentially it could have been for an open day or something, as they do like to do stuff like that. Nice, nice different one, and it's only a one-off example, so obviously you're not going to see this one all the time. Makes a nice little difference. Which livery do you like? Which one is your favourite? Let's head over to the coaches. So we'll take a look first of all at Mark 2s. I've got 2 rakes. I've got two sets of liveries, and then we've got some R&Bs as well to look at. So we'll start off with the intercity rake. So coming up to the end, obviously you can play with the height there, so you can put the buckeye up, or you can drop the buckeye and then you can make it so you can attach with the on the hook. These are air-conditioned coaches. You can't hear the aircon in it because we haven't connected up to a locomotive, and they are 100 mph maximum speed. They are also air braked. You couldn't drive these with vacuum braking. Non-CDL because of the era. CDL came in later on. I can get up there, like so. Got stuff like your fire extinguisher in here. Got obviously the gang end there. I presume this is some sort of PA system. Maybe I'm not too sure, to be honest on that. Maybe it's for lights and stuff. Goes on the aircon or whatever. I don't know. Luggage racks, and in here we are in first class. So you can see the first class seating arrangement is a 2 and 1. Tables all around. Gives you a bit of a strange sort of look. It makes you think that the carpet's off, but it's not. It's just because it's missing that extra seat. It all looks a bit weird. Curtains as well. And a nice, comfy plush seat. Got some partitions as well down here. I'm not really sure what the partitions are all about, but it has them. Obviously, overhead luggage. We move through, we go into the TSO. So that was the FO, this is the TSO. So this is a standard class, Chorus standard open, and that was a first open. So not such a comfy seat, but they're still comfy nonetheless. Different as well. Not such a bulky headrest though on these, they're just standard headrest. However, they do have tables as well. And we've got some more TSOs. There's only short rakes here, so what we'll do is run through to the BSO. I hope there is a BSO. I think there is, I can see it coming up. There we go. This is the BSO. So on the BSO, standard seating, as you expect, but not all the way through. So it only goes so far in the coach. You then go into the guard compartment, which obviously then you can go into the little seating area. Got a PA. Probably won't work because we're not connected to anything. If you turn it on, then press the public announcement phone, you will hear announcement call out for each stop. You can give a buzz up there, or you can do it up here as well. If you're hanging out this window to obviously dispatch the train or watch on the way out, you can obviously do this up here. And you can watch as you depart. Same on this side as well. There is also a button up there too. You can turn the lights on and off in here. Yeah. Near the at the connection of the circuit breaker there. Guard light on as well. The spoon. Never know you need a spoon. Handbrake wheels in there, and also you've got a luggage section, like a cage in here, so you can obviously store your luggage, parcels or whatnot. Bikes. You put bikes onto there, or trolleys or whatever. I presume more trolleys, really. You'd obviously add them up to them so they don't roll away. There we go. Get out. There we go. Double doors as well, so you can actually open on both sides there. So again, same coach. I'm not going to walk through because the interiors are exactly the same, but this is the BR Blue livery. So you've got the BSO, the TSO, and an FO at the front. To know which class, first class has the yellow band around the top. Standard has no banding on the top, as does the BSO. And that's the same on the Intercity as well. Heading up to the RMB. You can note these are Buffys because they'll say Buffy on the side and they've got a red band around the top either of the two coaches. So this is the BR Blue. Nice difference in there, obviously, because you've got the wooden panelling in this one. Older seating still. Obviously, these are a Mark 1 coach. But obviously, they have had a load of the seats taken out in this section to put a buffet counter. There's a little side room there. I think that's where they kept the water for the hot tea and coffee. Obviously out of the way, so if it didn't fall over or anything or splash anyone. Plenty of food. Well stocked with delights and drinks. Sandwiches and pork pies, and there's a menu over here as well. Do give that a read. There's some funnies on there as well. Little Easter egg. I'm not going to read it on here, I'll let you find that yourself. But yeah, well, that is that one. This was one of the most asked coaches as well, like the buffet. Not obviously just that, but the obviously the Mk2Fs. But I know a lot of people have been after a buffet car for a long time. Here they are. Just a quick look round on here as well. So again, we've got the same, but it's just the Intercity livery. You can obviously apply a Bardic lamp to coaches. This is for shunt moves. So if you're doing a shunt move, you put the lamp on the back, as you can as well with these. So you've got a tail lamp or a Bardic. If you're doing reversal moves and you've already got them on, it would put the Bardic lamp up. No, but if you find it doesn't, you can just go and plonk it on yourself. Vacuum brace release valves there. Distribution valve. I have no idea how you work these. I've never really played them before, but do something. There you go. And same again, you can obviously play with the types there, depending on what you're coupling up to. These are dual brake, by the way, so you can actually drag these with a steam locomotive if you wish to do so. So you can actually put them on a steam tour with other vacuum brake stock. But it's the actual Mark II car, only air braked. And there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this little look. Again, the pack is available. It's all on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox across all Gen 8, 9, and all that. JT website as well. If you're a Steam player and you want to purchase it directly, please do support directly. If you've got reward points, you can use them as well and make it a little bit cheaper for yourself and gain some more reward points back at the end of your purchase. 95, I think you get. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop any feedback or any comments as well in the chat. It's nice to hear how you're enjoying it and what you've been up to with the pack. Catch on Twitch on a Monday and Friday at twitch.tv/traceman_TV. And until next time, folks, take it easy and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.